And welcome to Hannity. We start tonight with a Fox News alert. Major breaking news tonight. Former FBI Director James Comey, or as he likes to describe himself, Mr. Higher Honor, has been indicted by a federal grand jury in Virginia. Comey is now facing 2 charges: obstruction of a congressional proceeding and lying to Congress. If he is convicted, he will face 5 years in prison on each count. President Trump writing on Truth Social tonight, quote, "Justice in America. Comey has been so bad for our country and is now at the beginning of being held responsible for his crimes against our nation." As I myself told James Comey right here on this show a long time ago, he has the right to remain silent. We'll remind him again. Take a look. By the way, the last thing we need are lectures from Jim Comey. And by the way, Jim, just a reminder, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. I think we're in better shape tonight. Anyway, I predict that tonight is only the tip of the iceberg. Pay very close attention as we go through this all throughout the show tonight. This is going to have a cascading effect. The same James Comey that protected Hillary Clinton and looked the other way when her team, we'd never heard of BleachBit, using BleachBit to clean their servers and acid wash them, basically. They were full of top secret, classified information. Remember, he said no reasonable prosecutor would prosecute. Remember, there were phones that were smashed with hammers and SIM cards removed from phones as well. Oh, and Joe Biden, of course, had top secret classified information. He didn't get raided. Hillary didn't get raided. No reasonable prosecutor would prosecute. Only go after Donald Trump and Mar-a-Lago and go into Melania's closet. Tonight, well, they are not getting away with covering their tracks like she did. Attorney General Pam Bondi tonight writing on X, quote, "No one is above the law. Today's indictment reflects this Department of Justice's commitment to holding those who abuse positions of power accountable for misleading the American people. We will follow the facts in this case." And, you know, let's take this time right now to remind you of some of the facts in this case. On this program, we have spent years uncovering, unpeeling every layer of the onion of the Russia hoax and the lie. And it took a small ensemble cast, some of which will be joining us tonight, to get to the truth. We have been vindicated by the Horowitz report, the Durham report, over and over again, newly declassified information. But as alleged in this indictment, count 1, on September the 30th, 2020, nearly 5 years ago, during a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing, former FBI Director James Comey denied when asked that he had authorized the release of classified information to the news media by allowing a friend and a colleague of his to be cited as an anonymous source. Take a look at what Comey said that day. Take a look.
He then asked you, quote, "Have you ever authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports about the Trump investigation or the Clinton administration?" You responded again under oath, no. Now, as you know, Mr. McCabe, who works for you, has publicly and repeatedly stated that he leaked information to the Wall Street Journal and that you were directly aware of it and that you directly authorized it. Now, what Mr. McCabe is saying and what you testified to this committee cannot both be true. One or the other is false. Who's telling the truth?
I can only speak to my testimony. I stand by what the testimony you summarized that I gave in May of 2017.
So your testimony is you've never authorized anyone to leak. And Mr. McCabe, if he says contrary, is not telling the truth. Is that correct?
Again, I'm not going to characterize Andy's testimony, but mine is the same today.
Now, it turns out that appears to be a lie. Remember, Andrew McCabe leaked to the Wall Street Journal, we believe, at Comey's direction. Comey's own friend, a special government employee, Columbia Law School professor, leaking to the New York Times at Comey's direction. Now, on to count 2, the numerous other false, misleading statements Comey is accused to have made. In that exact same hearing, Comey was asked by Senator Lindsey Graham, who will join us in a minute, about a memo he received from the Director of National Intelligence, effectively making the investigation of Hillary Clinton's emails disappear, replacing it with the Russia hoax. Comey said he never remembered, had no clue what happened. Watch this.
So do you recall getting an inquiry from the the intelligence community in September 2016 about a concern that the Clinton campaign was going to create a scandal regarding Trump and Russia?
I do not.
You don't remember getting a investigatory lead from the intelligence community? September the 7th, 2016, the U.S. intelligence officials forwarded an investigative referral of to FBI Director James Comey and Assistant Director of Counterintelligence Peter Strzok regarding U.S. presidential candidate Hillary Clinton's approval of a plan concerning U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections as a means of distracting the public from her use of a private email server. You don't remember getting that or being taught? That doesn't
ring bells with me.
Okay. Well, that's a pretty stunning thing. It didn't ring a bell, but it did come to you.
Now, Senator Graham was on this program that very same night. I asked him whether or not he believed James Comey. Here's a reminder.
All I can say is he has a convenient memory. He remembers what is damning to Trump, and when something is helpful to Trump, it's like Sergeant Schultz was in charge of the FBI. I see nothing, I hear nothing, I know nothing. It's hard to believe that the director of the FBI in charge of an investigation of a sitting president wasn't told, oh, by the way, the subsource who prepared the dossier we think is a Russian agent back to 2009. It's hard to believe they didn't tell the director of the FBI. The subsource tells us that the dossier is bar talk, not reliable, take it with a grain of salt. It's hard to believe that they don't tell the FBI director the CIA has warned us that the dossier prepared by Christopher Steele and a suspected Russian spy is all internet rumor. So here's Comey's problem. If one person can come forward and say, I briefed the director about the problems with the subsource, I told the director that the CIA was worried about the reliability of the dossier, then he is in big-time trouble.
And Mr. Higher Honor allegedly didn't just lie during that hearing. He also appears to have willfully lied to a FISA court several times, saying that he had enough verified information to warrant the surveillance of American citizens, starting with Carter Page, backdooring into all things Trump world. He never did. And remember, the FISA law mandates that if you present information to a FISA court to spy on an American citizen and later find out that information was false, the law requires you to go back to the FISA court and correct the record immediately. It does not look like that ever happened. In fact, if Comey and his friends could do it all over again, we learned from a questioning of Senator Lindsey Graham, they never would have signed the FISA warrants. Why didn't they tell the FISA court that? Listen.
If you knew then what you know now, would you have signed the warrant application in June of 2017 against Carter Page?
No, sir.
Okay. If you knew then what you know now, would you have signed the warrant application?
No, I would not.
Well, I believe you didn't know that what you signed was wrong. The question is, if you had known, you wouldn't have signed it. Is that correct?
No, if I had known that it contained incorrect information, I certainly wouldn't have signed it.
Knowing then what you know now about all the things that we've come to find, would you have still signed the warrant application against Carter Page in October, January, and April?
No, I would want a much more complete understanding of what we were.
Thank you very much.
When you knew that, Mr. Higher Honor, why didn't you go back to the court? The current FBI director, Kash Patel, writing on X earlier this evening, quote, today, your FBI took another step in its promise to full accountability. For far too long, previous corrupt leadership and their enablers weaponized federal law enforcement, damaging once proud institutions, severely eroding public trust. Every day, we continue to fight to earn that trust back. And under my leadership, this FBI will confront the problem head on. Nowhere was this politicization of law enforcement more blatant than during the Russiagate hoax, a disgraceful chapter in history we continue to investigate and expose. Everyone, especially those in positions of power, will be held to account. No matter their perch, no one is above the law. You hear that last part from the left all the time. No one's above the law, not even a former FBI director. Now, Comey's arraignment to face these charges will be on October the 9th. Earlier tonight, Mr. Higher Honor released this video on Instagram responding to the indictment. Take a look.
My family and I have known for years that there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump, but we couldn't imagine ourselves living any other way. We will not live on our knees, and you shouldn't either. Somebody that I love dearly recently said that fear is the tool of a tyrant, and she's right. But I'm not afraid, and I hope you're not either. I hope instead you are engaged, you are paying attention, and you will vote like your beloved country depends upon it, which it does. My heart is broken for the Department of Justice, but I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent. So let's have a trial and keep the faith.
I'm afraid of him. He's a weird guy. As I said, I predict that this is only the tip of the iceberg. Be on the lookout for superseding indictments, other jurisdictions, potentially other charges.
Want even more Fox News on YouTube? Become a Fox News Patriot today. Click join to find out how.